Hey everybody, welcome to the Moonbathe Deep side quest, one of the prerequisite quests required to get into Enkanomiya. This is a quest that has quite a little bit of story detail and also a lot of fluff, so for those of you that just skip through it, or for those of you who are wondering what went down in this particular quest, hey, welcome. This video is going to summarize it right up for you. If you need the gameplay guide video, just check the links below. I will have put up a video along with this one for what exactly you need to do when it comes to the puzzles and whatnot. They're not that hard. You might not need a guide video, but maybe you skip the story. Anyway, let's get into it. The Moonbathe Deep. So this quest pretty much starts with you finding Tsuyuko, a shrine maiden who doesn't believe in the superstitions of her people, but is totally willing to use a fortune she received as justification for why you should help her. Here she gives you an unnecessary lore detail, that being that in the old days, the pretty ladies of Watatsumi Island had really soft skin. And that was because Enkanomiya, the place that's beneath the waves, did not get sunlight. Yes, she takes a minute to tell you this and then justify it with she used to be a tour guide. Anyway, you get told where Enkanomiya is, that is, it's beneath Watatsumi. You probably have seen it before, the giant pool of water. Anyway, you get a bunch of big words like Byakuku, Dainichi Mikoshi, and Dragon Air of the Depths. And you get that as you learn that the ancestors had to rely on the power of great beings to survive the monsters that were down there below the ocean. Then, a few thousand years ago, some god came down, beat up the dragon dicks, and took the people of the underwater world to the surface. Shrine Maiden then explains that the underwater nation Byakuya no Kuni was renamed Enkanomiya so that it matched Sangonomiya. Naming conventions. Then you get a random line where this girl reveals that she's super patriotic, saying that by remembering her roots, she won't bow down, and more anti-shogun stuff. She just had a moment where she had to really just go in that angle. Like at this quest you could do it when the stuff with Raiden is still going on, so fair enough. Point is, she's just human, and she makes sure you know that. Anyway, all of this is said, and she changes topics and brings up holy soil out of nowhere, and that it's acting up again. Next, she explains, by using the metaphor of water is affected by gravity, that the energy of Watatsumi is being drained into Enkanomiya that's right down below it. Why exactly this is happening isn't explained beyond the initial metaphor. What you need to know, though, is that the soil is essentially losing nutrition and that Watatsumi is going to be a desert if this continues happening. Or do you need to know this? Buddy Girl says that it's just superstition that lacks logical credibility, and I don't understand how you can have an actual phenomenon occurring, one that can be observed, and still say that it's not logical. This woman lives in a world of dragons, ruin monsters, specters, and paimon, and this is where she draws the line. Anyway, she gives you another line of jargon that just explains that now is the time to go to Enkanomiya because of feng shui. And then she goes on to explain all the rites born from superstition that one must do to fix nutrition is disappearing because of gravity problem. So what you need to do is you go down, you grab a jade coral branch, a branch that suppresses dragon dick, then you come back, use the branch in a ritual, and make it so that all the spirit that fell down comes back up, defying gravity. At this point, Traveler asks a really good question. Hold up. What happens if we take the branch holding back Dragon Dick? And this is where you find out actually there's many of these branches, but taking a branch will weaken the overall seal. And then the lady essentially says that Dragon Dick breaking out is a problem for future her, and right now it's all about stopping gravity from taking away the nutrition from Watatsumi. Next she tells you how this whole thing of going down there is going to work. Pretty much, there's a barrier that keeps people out of Enkanomiya, but it doesn't stop gravity. You need to go to some rocks that the ancestors made to break the barrier, and there's like 5. Anyway, Paimon mentions this sounds like it's going to be dangerous, breaking the seals, and then this girl goes on this long detour about how they don't know what's down there, which amounts to pretty much nothing other than this lady wasting her breath. She ends this by saying that wildly speculating is useless as nothing is really being done, so thank you for saying that what you just said, the last 5 lines of dialogue were useless. Paimon then says she made a lot of good points, and this is when you realize that this is an incredibly frivolous exchange. What good points did she make? Paimon said it sounded dangerous, and then Buddy Girl told us everything ranging from monsters to nothing at all other than seawater. No good points were made other than the point that speculating is useless. Then Buddy Girl mentions treasure, and you can figure out how that's going to go. Paimon jumps in, we're going to go down there. Then Shrine Maiden points over yonder to one of the islands you got to visit, which leads to Paimon questioning why she isn't doing it, and the lady makes up excuses, including that Kokomi is too busy to prevent her island from turning into a desert. But luckily, the Traveler is around, and as it would so happen, the Traveler would be a convenient scapegoat. Just, if something goes wrong, it would just be easy to say that the Traveler had no idea what they were doing, and everyone can just brush it off. So you get the directions, Buddy Girl says you can ask her again, and then pieces out. You don't need to ask her. The game is pretty smart. Just follow the indicators. God, she's the worst person to talk to. Anyway, the story still ain't over. You go and you do all the little gameplay stuff. You get the 4 spirit pearls, and then you gotta go to the last spot. To get there, you talk to our favorite Shine Maiden one more time, and you follow her over into a small hidden cave. Here, after doing this one last puzzle, there's this big dramatic scene ending with a single drop falling from a giant ball of magic water. It's after here where Buddy Girl, if you talk to her, is silent. Does she perhaps see something incredibly magical in this place guarded by a magical barrier that defies logic? Speculating is useless. Anyway, what you do know, though, is that you have the key to Enkanomiya, and you find out that you have to wait for Kokomi's permission before you can do anything else. And here is where the quest now ends. Oh, and that key was forged from the blood of the god that ferried the people of Enkanomiya to dry land. That's actually relevant lore details. So that's it. That's the quest. What did we learn? Well, Enkanomiya lore, and that the people of Watatsumi are crafty enough to rope in a stranger to save them from a problem they're too busy to spend time on, using an ancient tradition that the quest giver herself quests, and are fully willing to use the fact that it was a stranger doing stuff to excuse any wrongdoing should things go wrong. Wonderful people. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you need to watch those gameplay videos, I have it linked down below. But until next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day, and thank you for watching the summary.